Is the government at all contemplating an excavation survey? Because till yesterday the word was the Culture Ministry had given a go-ahead. This morning the Culture Minister has come out and said not yet. Is yet the operative word or till the court gives an order on it?
Preeti, I believe Culture Minister was very categorical and unequivocal that there is no such direction for excavation, and I think that should put the issue to the rest. However, still you cannot take away from the fact, Preeti, that it's a widely acknowledged historical fact that large number of Hindu temples were demolished, somewhere around 40,000 to 60,000 as the estimates go, by Islamic invaders. And people have right to institute suitable proceedings. In fact, Supreme Court has also said, Preeti, that ascertaining the exact religious character of a particular place is not barred under the Places of Worship Act. And let me also remind you that the constitutional validity of Places of Worship Act 1991 itself is under cloud, it is under challenge, and the Supreme Court is examining the constitutional validity of the Places of Worship Act 1991. So all these matters will be taken up on their own merit, and as of now there are no such orders for any excavation. So I do not think that there is any case for any controversy on this issue, Preeti.
All right, so there's no such order yet, but on the other hand, Mr. Sinha, once you say that, that it is public knowledge, and you're right, it is public knowledge that a lot of our heritage monuments are built possibly on temples. Those temples are possibly built on Jain and Buddha temples. How far are we willing to go on this fight to uncover the truth?
Preeti, as I mentioned to you, that each and every case is going to be examined on its own merits, and everybody is conscious of the legal position, what the Places of Worship Act stipulates and mandates, and therefore we need not get into that controversy and let the courts take a call on that issue. As far as even proceedings in the Gyanvapi matter were also before the district judge in Varanasi today, and they are going to decide the issue whether 711 is to be entertained first or the commissioner's report has to be entertained first. So let us await the court proceedings, how they are going to take place. We cannot prejudge what court is going to do or say, and you cannot even preempt people from asserting their legal rights. It's the Places of Worship Act, Preeti, in fact, the point on which the notices were issued and this was being examined was that it makes a prohibitive bar against people who have been historically wronged for all these historical atrocities, etc. And on that point, Supreme Court is entertaining that issue. So let us see what Supreme Court has to say finally on the constitutional validity of Places of Worship Act.
Right.
But considering this in mind, I think instead of creating controversy over different issues, we should leave it to the courts of law to adjudicate on the matters.
Fair enough. Sanjay Hegde, leave it to the courts of law to, look into the matter on both accounts. Number one, Mr. Hegde, where the Gyanvapi Mosque is concerned, now as per the Supreme Court guidelines, orders, in fact, it's been given to the district court. But isn't the district court now under the orders of the apex court must only look at maintainability of the case and not the commission's report?
That appears to be the intent of the Supreme Court judgment, the Supreme Court order, and in case there is any deviation, there is always the prospect of an appeal to the High Court and then to the Supreme Court. But Preeti, my basic question is, I heard Aman Sinha, my friend, say that let the courts do their work. Is this the work of the courts? Our courts are anyway overburdened. There are so many matters where people are waiting for their freedom. There are so many matters where landlords are waiting for their houses back. There are matters where people want divorces. Courts are meant actually to handle the affairs of the living. Getting into deep history and what happened 500 years ago, 800 years ago, and trying to undo the effects of history are simply not in the realm of the court. That is why we have, in most civilized countries, a law of limitation. limitation applies everywhere, including in India. And the normal law of limitation is that if for 12 years somebody has occupied any property as the owner and there has been no acknowledgement of anybody's title, he perfects a title by adverse possession. We have a troubled history. Parliament was aware of it. Parliament said, okay, let's draw a cut-off line. And that cut-off line was the day of our independence. Now, Parliament has so far not reworked that act. Parliament has not substituted that act. Why is it that courts are continually being petitioned, saying, oh, that act is there, but you please keep it in the background while we go into everything and that may seemingly be of interest to the petitioners. Courts should be firm. Courts should say, look, there is an act. I have to enforce that act. If you want a change in the act, please go to Parliament.